Today is a very special day. Today is the Independence Day of India. So I thought of reading in this very special day the thoughts that Swami Vivekananda had on our motherland. I will be reading from a page, Vivek Vani. The first topic is renunciation. Renunciation, Swamiji says, that is the flag, the banner of India. From a lecture delivered by Swami Vivekananda in Calcutta in 1897. Renunciation, that is the flag, the banner of India, floating over the world, the one undying thought which India sends again and again as a warning to dying races, as a warning to all tyranny, as a warning to wickedness in the world. Aye, Hindus, let not your hold of that banner go. Hold it aloft, even if you are weak and cannot renounce. Do not lower the ideal. Say, I am weak and cannot renounce the world. But do not try to be hypocrites, torturing texts and making specious arguments and trying to throw dust in the eyes of people who are ignorant. Do not do that, but own you are weak, for the idea is great, that of renunciation. What matters it if millions fail in the attempt, if 10 soldiers or even 2 return victorious? Blessed be the millions dead, their blood has brought the victory. This renunciation is the one ideal throughout the different Vedic sects except one, and that is the Vallabhacharya sect in Bombay Presidency, and most of you are aware what comes where renunciation does not exist. We want orthodoxy, even the hideously with orthodox, even those who smother themselves with ashes, even those who stand with their hands uplifted. Aye, we want them, unnatural though they be, for standing for that idea of giving up and acting as a warning to the rest against succumbing to the effeminate luxuries that are creeping into India, eating into our very vitals and tending to make the whole race a race of hypocrites. We want to have a little of asceticism. Renunciation conquered India. In days of yore, it has still to conquer India. Still it stands as the greatest and the highest of Indian ideals. This renunciation, the land of Buddha, the land of Ramanuja, of Ramakrishna Paramhansa, the land of renunciation, the land where from the days of yore Karmakanda was preached against, and even today there are hundreds who have given up everything and become Jivan Muktas. Aye, will that land give up its ideals? Certainly not. There may be people whose brains have become tortured by the Western luxurious ideals. There may be thousands and hundreds of thousands who have drunk deep of enjoyment, the scars of the West, the senses, the curse of the world. Yet for all that, there will be other thousands in this motherland of mine to whom religion will ever be a reality and who will be ever ready to give up without counting the cost if need be. O India, forget not. From Swami Vivekananda's prose, Bartaman Bharat, translated as Modern India, originally published in Udbodhan, March 1989. O India, forget not that the ideal of thy own manhood is Sita, Savitri, Damayanti. Forget not that the God thou worshippest is the greatest ascetics of ascetics, the all-renouncing Shankara, the Lord of Uma. Forget not that thy marriage, thy wealth, thy life are not for sense pleasures, are not for thy individual personal happiness. Forget not that thou art born as a sacrifice to the mother's altar. Forget not that thy social order is but the reflex of the infinite universal motherhood. Forget not that the lower classes, the ignorant, the poor, the illiterate, the cobbler, the sweeper, are thy flesh and blood, thy brothers. Thou brave one, be bold, take courage, be proud that thou art an Indian, and proudly proclaim, I am an Indian, every Indian is my brother. Say, the ignorant Indian, the poor and destitute Indian, the Brahmin Indian, the Pariah Indian is my brother. Thou too, clad with but a rag round, thy loins proudly proclaim at the top of thy voice, the Indian is my brother, the Indian is my life, Indian gods and goddesses are my God. Indian society is the cradle of my infancy, the pleasure garden of my youth, the sacred heaven, the Varanasi of my old age. Say, brother, the soil of India is my highest heaven, the good of India is my good, and repeat and pray day and night. O thou Lord of Gauri, O thou Mother of the universe, vouchsafe manliness unto me. O thou Mother of strength, take away my weakness, take away my unmanliness, and make me a man. Let each one of us pray day and night. This is the title from a letter written to Alasinga Perumal in 1894 from 541 Dearborn Avenue, Chicago. Let us pray. Lead, kindly light. A beam will come through the dark, and a hand will be stretched forth to lead us. I always pray for you. You must pray for me. Let each one of us pray day and night for the downtrodden millions in India who are held fast by poverty, priestcraft and tyranny. Pray day and night for them. I care more to preach religion to them than to the high and the rich. I am no metaphysician, no philosopher, nay, no saint. But I am poor. I love the poor. I see what they call the poor of this country, and how many there are who feel for them. What an immense difference in India. Who feels there for the 200 millions of men and women sunken forever in poverty and ignorance? Where is the way out? Who feels for them? They cannot find light or education. Who will bring the light to them? Who will travel from door to door, bringing education to them? Let these people be your God. Think of them, work for them, pray for them incessantly. The Lord will show you the way. He might call a Mahatma, great soul, whose heart bleeds for the poor. Otherwise, he is a Duratman, wicked soul. Let us unite our wills in continued prayer for their good. We may die unknown, unpitied, unbewailed, without accomplishing anything, but not one thought will be lost. It will take effect sooner or later. My heart is too full to express my feeling. You know it, you can imagine it. So long as the millions live in hunger and ignorance, I hold every man a traitor who, having been educated at their expense, pays not the least heed to them. I call those men who strut about in their finery, having got all their money by grinding the poor, wretches, so long as they do not do anything for those for those 200 millions who are now no better than hungry savages. We are poor, my brothers, we are nobodies, but such have been always the instruments of the Most High. The Lord bless you all. 100,000 men and women, fired with the zeal of holiness, fortified with eternal faith in the Lord, and nerved to lion's courage by their sympathy for the poor and the fallen and the downtrodden, will go over the length and breadth of the land, preaching the gospel of salvation, the gospel of health, the gospel of social raising up, the gospel of equality. Let new India rise. Let new India rise in your place. Let her rise out of the peasant's cottage, grasping the plough, out of the hearts of the fisherman, the cobbler, and the sweeper. Let her spring from the grocer's shop, from beside the oven of the fruit seller. Let her emanate from the factory, from marts and from markets. Let her emerge from groves and forests, from hills and mountains. This common people have suffered oppression for thousands of years, suffered it without murmur, and as a result have got wonderful fortitude. They have suffered eternal misery, which has given them unflinching vitality. Living on a handful of grain, they can convulse the world. Given them only half a piece of bread, and the whole world will not be big enough to contain their energy. They are endowed with the inexhaustible vitality of Raktabija, a demon in the Durga Saptashati. Every drop of whose blood falling on the ground produced another demon like him. And besides, they have got the wonderful strength that comes of a pure and moral life, which is not to be found anywhere else in the world. Such peacefulness, such contentment, such love, such power of silent and incessant work, and such manifestation of lion strength in times of action. Where else will you find this? Skeletons of the past, there before you are your successor, the India that is to be. Throw those treasures chest of yours and those jeweled rings among them as soon as you can, and you vanish into the air and be seen no more. Only keep action. Where else will you find this? Throw those treasures chest of yours, and you vanish into the air and be seen no more. Only keep your ears open. No sooner will you disappear than you will hear the inaugural shout of the Renaissance India, ringing with the voice of a million thunders and reverberating throughout the universe. Wah Guru ki Fateh, victory to the Guru. Thank you. Jai Swamiji.